Good morning, Good morning, students. How are you? I hope you all will be well. I am Shikha, your English teacher. Today I am going to teach you English reader, first chapter. That's name is Mr. Toad's Adventure. Before starting this chapter, I would like to show you your reader book. This is your reader book. Okay, it's your reader book. I hope all students have purchased this. If you have not purchased this, you can purchase it. Okay. Now it's your first chapter, Mr. Toad's Adventure. Okay. Now before starting the chapter, I would like to introduce you about the author of this chapter. Who is the author of this chapter? The author of this chapter is Kenneth Graham. Okay. Now I am going to tell you about the author of Kenneth Graham. He was a Scottish writer and his famous work was The Wind in the Willows, which he has written in the 1908. Okay, and he was born in Edinburgh, and that is in the Scotland. Okay, and he spent most of his living with his sibling and grandmother. He wrote various essays and children's stories, and his stories for children capture the essence of childhood. Means जो ऑथर है उनकी स्टोरीज में ज्यादातर बचपन की बातें बताई गई हैं. He wrote various essays and children's stories. His stories for children capture the essence of childhood, the golden age, and his sequel, Dream Days, are some of the other published work. Okay. Now I am going to tell you about the chapter. This chapter, as you are looking, Mr. Toad's Adventure. As the title is showing, Mr. Toad. Toad means क्या होता है? Frog. Okay. And adventure means साहसिक घटनाएं. तो इस चैप्टर के अंदर टोड की साहसिक घटनाओं के बारे में आपको बताया गया है. Right? Now this chapter is telling us that Mr. Toad, he was very fond of the car, and he took a car and without permission he started away to drive, and after driving the car very rashly, very rudely, what happened to him? This is described in this chapter. Okay. Now before starting this chapter, I would like to tell you one message also. This chapter is having very good message. What is the message of this chapter? The message of this chapter is that especially teenagers are doing this. What they are doing? They are they are very fond of the adventures. They are very fond of the driving the vehicles. Okay, they are very small. They do not have license, even though they are taking the vehicle and taking away outside. And this type of adventure is very harmful for you and for your parents also. So this chapter is describing this. Okay, what happened to Mr. Toad when he took the car without license, without permission, and he driven the car very rashly. Okay, now I am going to tell you the summary of this chapter. In the first section of this chapter, the author is telling us this was the summer season and Mr. Toad was very hungry. He went away to the town and he entered in the restaurant and he took the lunch. Okay. After when he was taking the lunch, then some persons came in a new car. Then Mr. Toad saw a new car. He was very fond of the car and without any permission he took the car and he started to drive. And he was driving very fastly and very harshly. And he was thinking, nobody can catch me. Now I am the king of this road. Now what happened? After when he driven very rashly, suddenly he listened the siren of the police. When he listened the siren of the police, even though he was driving very rashly the car, then what happened? Police catch him. Then after catching, then if police catch, then even though he was doing very bad behavior with the police persons, then what happened? Police caught him and he was put in the prison and he was got very bad punishment. Okay, and he was punished for the I think he was punished for the 20 years. He was put in the jail and he was punished for the 20 years. So this was the very bad result of the Mr. Toad's adventure. So I would like to say to you all that adventure is very good for our life, but please don't do like this adventure. That the kind of adventure put you in a very bad situation. So this is the message of this chapter. Okay, I hope you have understood this. And what you will do, you will read this chapter very carefully. And the written work, If you have done, that's very good. If you have not done, then all students will make English reader notebook and the work will be done in a very good handwriting in English reader notebook. And written work I will give you in the PDF form. Okay, thank you. Take care.